Now, when it comes to Drake, music
this
video,
point, Harris
Drake
knowing
himself
Derek
was
could not
somebody
be a
who
rapper
was
more
now
corny
in
than
this
this
guy
guy
in
in
songs.
songs.
If
They
they
drop
music
music
video,
video,
Harris
Harris
himself
knowing
was somebody
Derek.
Tupac made Rap God, then got slimed and came back as Playboy Cardi, who was friends with Drake until he got caught hanging out with his kid. Cardi couldn't call Drake his friend after he figured out that he was kind of a good parent, not really. So to get back at him, he got this little 5'1" Auntie Jeans man to hop on his album. And that is your history lesson, and that's all you need to know, and that's all that happened between these two. It's almost been a year since each rapper dropped their last diss tracks, and that's what people consider the beef ended. But if you look at everything that's happened since then with GNX and SSS4U and everything else, I'm starting to think the drama won't ever fully die down. On top of having the two worst fan bases in hip-hop, these two are constantly at each other's throat, and the only way I see this fully ending is if Drake either wins this lawsuit or it gets dropped. But even if it gets dropped, I think it's going to be subliminals until the day they die. Even then, I think Kendrick's children and Adonis will have like lifelong beef or something. But even after all the doubt, Drake has still not dropped the lawsuit and actually decided to make some adjustments to it, and it somewhat worked. He dropped everything except his lawsuit at UMG, and he didn't completely win, but he was able to like make an advancement to the point where he can look at Kendrick's contract. Drake made some progress in his defamation lawsuit against Universal Music Group over Kendrick Lamar's Not Like Us after the judge denied Universal's request to stay the discovery process and allow Drake to proceed in requesting to access documents, including Lamar's contracts with the label. In a pretrial conference earlier today in New York, Judge, I can't say that, ruled in favor of Drake's legal team, stating that they can begin deposing executives and requesting documents. Last month, UMG asked the judge to stay all discovery in the case, which included demands for all contracts between Kendrick Lamar and UMG, as well as compensation and incentives like salaries and bonuses for Interscope CEO Judge Jeannette A and other executives. A source close to the case noted to Variety that while the focus of today's hearing was on Drake's discovery, Universal will also be seeking its own discovery regarding claims made in the initial lawsuit. Michael Gottlebottle, Drake's lead attorney and partner Wilkie Farr and Gallagher, celebrated the decision in a statement to Variety. Now it's time to see what UMG was trying so desperately to hide. Universal had entered a letter to stay discovery on March 18th, claiming that Drake's first set of discovery requests would cause undue burden and require costly collection and review of large swaths and hard copy electronic data sets, contracts and agreements and communications. Among the requested documents were Lamar's contracts with Universal and metrics that determined incentive with compensation for executives over the past 5 years. The company has been on the offensive in the case since it was filed in January, most recently filing a scathing motion last month to dismiss the suit, and Drake is only suing because he lost a rap battle. Instead of accepting the loss like the unbothered rap artist he often claims to be, he has sued his own record label in a misguided attempt to to salve his wounds, read the filing. Plaintiff's complaint is utterly without merit and should be dismissed with prejudice. In today's decision, the judge scheduled a hearing on the motion to dismiss for June 30th. Drake initially filed the suit against Universal in January, suing the company for defamation and harassment and spreading the false and malicious narrative that he is via Not Like Us. Drake's legal team said that Universal knew Kendrick Lamar's lyrics and images in the song's music video were false and dangerous, yet continued to promote it for profit. The suit also accused Universal of colluding with Spotify to falsely inflate streaming numbers for Not Like Us, a claim that both companies denied. That same month, Universal filed a motion to dismiss Drake's separating petition for pre-suit deposition in Texas, citing lack of evidence and the rapper's claims against the record company that had artificially inflated and promoted Not Like Us following its release last May. Why is reading so hard, bro? Holy shit. If you want my honest opinion, dude, the real goat of rap, Taylor Swift, said it best: you need to calm down, dude. And not just lawyer boy, dude, midget as well, but bro, this is me while I'm editing, and if I was that short, I'd hate Drake too, not even gonna lie, dude. But like most of all, yes, you watching this video, you need to calm down, bro. Tupac and Biggie had beef, and people still listen to both of them. In fact, I think most people who listen to one listen to both. Same thing with Jay-Z and Nas. And it was cool to watch the rap battle, and it obviously, like, people who are like, you're dragging it, well, this was the biggest rap battle ever. People are still talking about the two beefs I just mentioned nearly 30 years later. But neither of these artists are supposed to be like the golden child. Kendrick Lamar is obviously much more commercially successful right now, but dude, like, I understand liking one artist more than the other, and like obviously the battle of like heightened tensions, but dude, you don't have to like take it as a personal attack if I say I like Drake, especially, bro. And this is definitely because millennials and children discovered Kendrick at the same time, but his fan base has become so corny and divisive, dude. It's like, I don't want to be associated with these people. Obviously everybody clowns on DJ Academics for being on Drake's Johnson all the time and, you know, other things, but I swear, dude, I've not met a Kendrick Lamar fan in the past past year who has said anything about Kendrick without it being about Drake. And these people genuinely aren't much better. Like, not to take away from the crazy run he's having right now, dude. Like, obviously that's insane, bro, but God forbid you say you don't like anything he's doing, and God forbid you say you like anything Drake's doing, dude. In the past 12 months since the beef, they've both dropped albums, and guess what? Both of these albums sounded good to my ears, and a lot of the songs did not sound good to my ears. But the crazy thing is, I don't know Drake or Kendrick, and so I can listen to both of them, and I don't know, dude. I understand that Kendrick has done a lot for the culture, but like, low-key, so has Drake. And what's even crazier is to act like anybody who likes Drake and still listens to him is some like simpleton, when Kendrick Lamar literally has the most monthly listeners of every rapper. And I'm about to blow y'all's mind real quick. Guess what? Kendrick Lamar did actually get proven to have bots. Spotify went and removed a bunch of botted listeners, and Kendrick Lamar immediately dropped down. Now, I don't think it was him doing the botting. I don't really think he cares enough to do that, but like, what Drake said about him like using bots to his streams, or maybe it wasn't him, maybe it was UMG, whatever happened, dude, whatever sort of situation was going on there, dude, like, Kendrick Lamar was using bots, and people still want to call Drake delusional and say this case doesn't have anything to stand on. Of course UMG is going to say that, dude. They don't want to get sued. But the real reason I'm making this video is because they both have personally offended me, in the sense that whenever I go on any social media that's not YouTube and someone posts about Drake or Kendrick on a hip-hop page that I follow, then all the comments are immediately about the other artist. And in a way, I think the real greatest rapper of all time, J. Cole, almost saved himself from the situation, because whenever you see something about J. Cole, dude, then it's like, oh, well, there's like little comparison, you know what I mean? And another thing we are not going to do is, because of the Kendrick fan base, we are not going to disrespect Kanye West's discography, even though that might be more of a Cardi fan base thing. We are not going to disrespect Lil Wayne's discography, and we sure as hell are not going to disrespect Nicki Minaj's discography.
Now, when it comes to Drake, the more this guy and his team are just staying around and annoying everybody, the more problems they seem to create. And while we thought things would be a little quiet until Drake came back out with his Nokia music video, which is supposed to drop very soon, with what just happened, Drake and all the guys who follow him went absolutely insane about the most ridiculous thing you could think of.
No, but me, my arch nemesis, Fantastic Hip Hop, who has blatantly spread misinformation about both parties in the past, and you know, nobody's really talked about it, but I wanted to react to one of his newer videos, and you guys just heard him claim that Drake did the most ridiculous thing you can ever think of. And personally, to me, I'm trying to think of the most ridiculous thing I think Drake would do. Probably have a Kanye level crash out, and like, you know, because that's just the most ridiculous thing anybody's ever done to their career. But and if it's anything less than that, then this is clickbait, and I'm reporting your channel.
And really, with how far they have went, they just started an entire new beef with a different group of people in the absolute strangest and most pointless way. And really, when we look at the mess that Drake and his guys have created this time around, there is just no other way to look at this crew without seeing that they are the most pathetic people to ever try and associate themselves with what we know as rap music.
The most pathetic people to ever try and associate.
Okay, now before we go any further into all of this and see just how bad Drake and his guys look for being this desperate, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. And now, as Drake and his guys are still finding ways to reach even lower lows and have those—
But don't be fooled, Fantastic Hip Hop is actually the victim here, and to stop Drake's tyranny against Nav, make sure you like the video, or he's gonna like lose his channel to Drake or something.
Lows, and at the same time, Kendrick Lamar is about to come back out soon and stop all of these games that they are trying to get away with playing. It has never been more important to like— They are beefing with none other than Nav, as when it comes to this guy, while he and Drake seemed to split up in full during the height of the Kendrick beef last year, because as The Weeknd was involved with everything Future and Metro were doing, and Nav is a part of XO, which is his label, he followed in line with what he did, of course. Well, now after all of that, and Nav being an indirect part of that beef, after Drake was bothering him in that time as well, which is important to note, we have finally seen the continuation of all of that.
Alright, so basically that never happened, and he like admits that he contradicts that literally later in the video.
And I guess what Nav has done is try and stick up and speak out for his city and where they are from against Drake and OVO, as on his new record, On My Way to Rexdale 2. On the track Back to Business, which for Nav is one of the most high energy and lyrical songs that he ever put together. The guy who produced a diss track for Drake in Back to Back a long time ago said, "Talkin' no cap, get peel quick. OVO body, I build. Say you want the smoke, get turned to a zip. Thought you was a man, but you turned to a..."
Yeah, okay, so those weren't the lyrics, and you know, if it was just like a slip up, I guess it'd be fine, but you know, people might walk away from this video only watching like a couple minutes of it, and they're probably gonna think that he said that when he literally didn't.
Now, with Nav dropping OVO's name and throwing some of the craziest bars or disses he ever has in his entire career at this crew, which again, as Nav is with XO and The Weeknd, this is of course a serious beef that has a lot more direct impact than any other Drake beef does on both of the parties. Hit him up and was saying that the lyrics were being misquoted. What the actual thing that Nav was saying on this record was not OVO body, but over your body, which
Because again, this is Nav we are talking about. He is not a wordsmith or anything. I mean these bars to be directed at Drake or OVO, and that he was not dissing them whatsoever.
Okay, so why'd you make this video, bro? Like, this is what I'm talking about. Like, dude, this is literally academics level stuff,
Of course,
bro.
by doing this, they did their classic new pathetic little thing to try and make Drake look like this bigger and tougher guy than he is. And Kendrick Lamar is about to come back out soon and stop all of these games that they are trying to get away with playing.
So in the same video, we got that Nav taking shots at Drake is like some big ballsy move, but then some people like replying on Twitter because they didn't hear the lyrics correctly makes Drake somehow pathetic when he literally said nothing about it in about a year. In the same video, he talks about how Nav is so brave for this, but then goes on to say, who cares, it's Nav. Like, this is what I'm talking about, bro. And like, obviously no hate to this guy, but like, I don't know, dude. I mean, if you're getting the bag, then I don't really see nothing wrong with it, but like, this is just kind of fake and you're purposely spreading false information, but whatever pays the bills, dude. And that's gonna be it for this video. Make sure to, I don't know, dude. I'm so excited to see all the smart people in the comment section. I'm feeling a light 10 on this video I made because I make the best videos. Make sure to drink paint.
And this is, of course, a serious beef that has a lot more direct impact than any other Drake beef does on both of the parties. Or around a beef with Drake and Nav? Come on, it's over. It's time to pack it up. And